the one and only. I don't know of another one. Don't want to know another one. QDB. I'm here with Jim. He makes up, of course, the other half of Jim. And let me just say, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule during this, during this critical time of the marketing to come on, Jim and Jim, and allow us to talk to you and see where your head is at and kind of how the composition of the album came to be, the culmination of it all. And, I'm going to pass it over to Jim here, but one thing I want to relate to the fan base and the people that watch Jim and Jim and the people that listen to your music and hopefully the growing numbers of people that will be introduced to your music, hopefully they love it as much as I do. I really enjoyed listening to this album. It's soulful, it's R&B, it's rap, it's hip hop. There's some really good features on there, really fresh production, sound. I just loved it. I don't want to wax poetic too long, give the mic here to Jim, but I just really love your work, and I think you should be commended for the work you did on this album.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Again, I'm Jim. This is Jim. Jim really spoke to it. It's a nice work, a nice piece, a nice work of art in my mind. And I just can't wait until the masses get to get a peek inside the mind of
Couple
QDB.
more days.
Okay, because I asked myself, it said, hey, Almighty presents a producer platinum producer, that I'm personally fond of. Okay, nice, young, fresh.
His work is nice.
It's so nice, and I mean, that's a whole nother discussion that we'll probably get to it at another part of this interview. But I said to myself, who is QDB? And so I feel privileged that you took this time in the current climate, particularly in this climate, to take the time to talk to us about your process in your album.
Let me speak to this, QDB. Let me speak to this, because both of you, Jim asked a very good question, and you gave us an insightful answer. Speaking about the climate, and I think, the climate right now, it's not a clear sky by any means. There's some storm clouds over the horizon. But when I listen to your music, I don't get that impression. I still hear the joy and the soul and the hope and the optimism. Again, just similar to how I asked about the confidence and the emboldenment that came from, the left behind the shyness of Marquise and stepped into the wholesomeness of QB. Where does the joy come out of the music and the climate that, could be debated to be so dark?
That's a very good question, Jim, because that positivity really permeates throughout the album. I'm having a good time. I'm vibing when I'm listening to this album, okay? It was diverse, but it was also very positive, Jim, and I speak to that, please.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, they try to say they believe tomorrow's not promised to you. And if you look at how they live their life, it doesn't look like that. So I live my life like tomorrow's not promised to me. I try to have as much fun in one day as I can in that one day with all that I can do. And if I'm making music that day, all the fun that I'm having that day, you gonna feel it through that. Whatever I got my hands on, that's my inspiration. Like, I just want to be positive.
See, I can't help but wanting to go back to that space, because when I listen to the album, Jim, I got distinct feelings, okay? I got the feeling that I was in the club, having a pretty damn good time, all right? And I also got the feeling I'm with my boys, okay? And sometimes I'm with my boys in the club, but I'm with my boys. And it was a mature approach, okay, to that orientation with one another, in a mature approach to his into you coming into your own. So can you,
I know what you're saying, Jim. And this is coming from a guy that really does enjoy going out there and mingling and co-mingling and getting out there with the community. And I think your music kind of inspires it. And I'll give you an example. Just like Jim here was speaking to it. I think a word that would describe what it is that you were saying is it kind of provides an anthem, you know. Everyone's always looking for a soundtrack and an anthem. And don't let me forget, Jim.
get like me?
Jim, don't let me forget. I want to come back to this point when I spoke on soundtrack and anthems. But, that
You know where I want to go with this point.
take us there, Jim.
Take us there, Jim.
What's your favorite track on here, man? I mean, as I'm listening to this album,
That's
I'm
not
going
fair.
from one to the next. I'm having a great time. Can I say? I thought it was it hit me like the Chronic did. Okay, can I say that? The production's phenomenal. You took me on quite a ride. It was that type of thing for me. And so, what's your favorite track? What is it?
And before you answer, I just want to say, this is a hard-hitting interview, apparently, because to have to choose between that many tracks
that's
is a tough question. So
That's
go
a
ahead.
tough
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I would actually say Shake That Ass is my favorite song on the track. And Confidence is one that I would probably play the most. It's not my favorite. I would play it the most. Just because it's like a morning booster. But Shake That Ass is definitely my favorite track on the album.
He was pretty straight with that answer. How about that took all the drama out of that?
Jim, what's your favorite? What's your favorite record?
Oh, Jim, I think
I can put you on the spot, but I'd love to know.
it depends a lot from. Do you remember Tupac's album? Do you remember
Which
the
one,
Dog
Jim?
Pound?
Which
Jim,
one?
you just put it on all the damn time. I want to hear before football practice and after football practice. I want to hear it when I get home. I want to hear it when I wake up. That's kind of how I feel about this album, Jim. I can put it on from start to finish and really get a good. It's a great experience.
I don't care who
It's
you are.
I can't speak enough to it. I can't wait till you guys get to hear it. I want to leak it. I want to leak it.
Jim, I don't care
Call
who
up the
you are.
LA Leakers.
Hey.
Talk to me a little bit about some of your influences on this album.
Well, I would definitely say my son influenced me likely the most. He's the platinum producer. He produced the Uno track for AMBJ.
I love it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good track. Viral. Second song of the summer behind Old Town Road with Nas and Lil Nas.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, that song went platinum. So, I figured, that was my protege. I taught him everything he know. So I figured, you put two people like myself in a pot, you go get something dynamic. So he produced 90% of it, and then my younger son, he produced 3 tracks on there. And I gave you the best of me.
And that's a dynamic duo that you don't too often get in any field, where you get the father and son working in unison effectively and professionally and near where it's clear that there's definitely talent and abundance of which on both sides. So it kind of led me to want to ask this question. You spoke a little bit about when QDB steps out of that cage, that monster comes from out of the bed or from out of the cage, wherever it comes from. The talent and the innovation and the creativity, where does it come from? Obviously, your children also have it. You have an abundance of it as well. Is it your father's side more musically structured? Is it the mother's side? Is it the church background? Is it the totality of all? Where do you guys kind of get that musical genius?
It's God, It's a God-given talent. I've been in church all my life. When I was a kid, sang in the choir, and all of that. But like I said, the way I was born, birth defects, and things of that nature, I was told I wasn't even supposed to be able to talk. So, God said, forget talking. He got a story to tell. So I utilize the gifts that's given to me, and I just give it back to y'all 110%, and whatever comes of that comes of that. If it's good, if it's bad, I just give y'all everything I got.
And and I think the organic nature of this really, I think, helps a lot. But the fact that we speak to your favorite track a little bit ago being "Shake That Ass," correct? And,
Oh yeah.
and right now we speak to God being the driving force behind the creativity, innovation, and the talent. And I see a song title called "Amen." You know, talk a little bit about that track if you don't mind. But I just wanted to say the diversity of the music. You can't make this stuff up, and we talked a little bit about it. And I think again, the proof is in the pudding. We talked about your favorite track being "Shake That Ass," but at the same time, you spoke a little bit about the creativity and where it came from. And it's just blessings on blessings on blessings. And I look here at the music titles. I look scroll down my notes, and Amen's right there.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy that you even say that because I was having a conversation with one of my boys. We was listening to it, and I told him I had a couple of religious like tracks on the album, and he was like, "What? Wait, how do you mean? You got that shake that ass and all of that on there." I was like, you know what? It's the way you approach religion that kind of enhances the dynamics of the song. If I'm trying to be Kirk Franklin, then obviously I'm going full fledged Bible. But you can be hip hop and live life and still seek God. Like, why would you stop just because I might be the bad guy? I don't want to be the devil.
You kind of talked about being born with birth defects and not being told that you might not even be able to speak, much less be able to articulate yourself in the manner that you do. And I think that I hope that gives people a lot of appreciation as they're listening to this music. To You got flows, man. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right? So when people are listening to that, I hope that they really appreciate how God has blessed you and enabled you to communicate with all of us in the manner that you are, because you're pretty gifted with it. In fact, I remember talking to Jim as we're listening to it on these hooks, man. I said, "This is Nate Dogg, man. This is him. I got my guy."
Oh, something no good.
Oh man.
Final product. And you spoke to a little bit about the process. I just kind of wanted to, if you wanted to give a peek behind the scenes into your process and how the creative thoughts start to flow and how you kind of go through putting it on wax, as they like to say.
Well, you know what? Because, like you said earlier, I'm so passionate about music. Music speaks to me. And whatever the beat is, I never have a concept of a song going in. I've never been able to, like, oh, let's talk about this or let's talk about that. No, because that might not go with the characteristic of that sound. And since I'm so passionate about the sound, I'm making love to the sound. And the sound is making love back to me. So when the sound come on and it say drop your drawers, beastie, I'm only writing back to the drawers being dropped. So now that's me making love to the beat. And whatever y'all get from that, or however y'all feel about that particular song based on that beat, that's QDB. That's what I've interpreted. That's what I'm giving back. And that's me giving back to the people. Because I don't have nothing going in. I'm only giving you what's coming out.
You sound like a porn star.
You know.
QDB. Now I feel completely different about the way that
I kind of wish I was.
Now I want to rewind it.
Hey, so in essence, what he's saying is, when you hear his music, you're basically getting a conception of lovemaking.
Conception my ass.